Utah holds on and takes game one.
NBA fans, what's good? You are now rocking with the best. Ro Parrish here in Studio B. It is Playoff Central Live presented by AT&T 5G. You've just witnessed the Utah Jazz go up 1-0 against the LA Clippers. And I have two of the most outstanding basketball minds here to break it all down. The All-Star, the champion, Steve Smith, the coach of your next basketball team in the NBA, that is Earl Watson, your favorite basketball team. He's going to be the head coach. Just trust me on that with his basketball intellect. But we just saw that last possession. We saw the defensive scramble drill going on with the Utah Jazz as they get the victory. Smitty, your thoughts on that last possession as the Clippers tried to tie the game up?
All right, look at the team right there.
One thing about playing in Jazz Nation, I knew with that lead in the first half, they wasn't safe because that energy in that building that Coach Sloan built just gives you a different edge.
Yeah, we saw earlier in that game they missed 20 consecutive shots. 15 of those shots were three-pointers. Then in the second half, that defensive intensity. Gobert didn't have a block until midway through the third quarter. Then he finishes the game with 3 as Utah comes up big defensively. But then offensively, Donovan Mitchell. We hear the chatter all season. We see him and Shaq go back and forth and kind of challenged him. And he's definitely answered the bell. 45 points tonight, his 4th career playoff game going over 40 points, tying Karl Malone for the Utah Jazz all-time playoff record. Earl, just seeing what he did offensively and being able to carry this team with Mike Conley out tonight, what were your thoughts?
Watching him on television does him no justice. You have to go to the game to see him to appreciate his speed and explosiveness. He's not a tall guard, he's 6'1", but he has strong base, big shoulders. He has strength behind his explosive nature and power. He can shoot the ball beyond the 3. And Smitty, I don't know if I've seen anyone as explosive in a small box. The way he dribbled left, right, and finds an angle to get to the basket. His finishing is above the rim, under the rim, and kind of unorthodox when he goes right hand, right leg, right hand layups. He's very crafty around the rim, and it's difficult to time blocking his shot.
He has a power forward mentality to me. I think one thing I love about it is he's always square, dribbling the basketball. Usually a guard, he plays with it, but he's in and out. But he's always square, and then he's okay with going through your shoulders. And like you said, he's huge for me. And obviously we know how close it is and how much they talk to each other, but somebody that good is still picking people's brain. Usually you start to feel yourself, I've arrived. He doesn't feel like he's arrived.
Yeah, I don't know Donovan that well, but every time I've been around him, he's very humble and seems to be very open and to learning. And D-Wade, of course, part of the ownership group now with Utah. We saw him on the sideline. Earl, when you have somebody like that who's a legend, a future Hall of Famer, first ballot, who's been to these games and been in these situations, how valuable is that to see and being able to go and ask and pick his brain?
It's extra confidence. You seek that knowledge, you seek that resource. And as we was watching him play, Smitty and Ro, he reminds me of Eric Gordon. His size, his build, his shiftiness before the injuries. If Eric Gordon would have got drafted to a better organization, this is who he would have been. So when you have that situation and you have a D-Wade, you have an owner who actually knows the game, which is rare in this league, it kind of gives you confidence. D-Wade can give him insight that not even Quinn can give him, because D-Wade's been on that court and lived in those moments with the ball in his hand, going down the stretch, closing games in the playoffs.
So when we go to the other side, the Los Angeles Clippers coming off that Game 7, I know that was taxing if you think about it. That was a longer series than maybe some might have expected. Paul George struggling to get his shot together. Had 13 in the fourth quarter, but really couldn't find his shot earlier. What were some of the things that stuck out to you about the Clippers that you saw that they can improve upon?
Well, I think for them is they're going to have an adjustment. Obviously, you wanted to come in and win this game, and obviously it sent a message. But you lost this one. But I love what T. Lewis done. He pushed another button tonight, DeMarcus Cousins. Came in, didn't play well his few minutes. And I think also Luke Kennard has been able to play well. He's trying to find the rhythm of this, and T. Lou's one of the masters of being able to manage, adjust. He's one of those guys, I'm just not going to run to the race. I'm going to just keep plotting. And then I think for him is he's going to figure it out, and I think this game is going to be beautiful for him. This is what I love about the game. I just want to be a fly on the wall with the coaches when they're talking about the adjustments, because that's the game within the game. When you're a player, yes, you know what kind of adjustments you're going to make. But as a coach, I got to tell Earl what kind of adjustments I think. He's got to tell me, and we got to be on the same page. And that's the beauty about basketball when you have a coach-player relationship.
That's the mental aspect. Earl, I want to ask you about the physical aspect. Coming off that Game 7, we saw it seemed like they had a lot of energy early. Do you think that energy faded away? What do you think happened with the Clippers towards the end of the game?
You're still playing at altitude. Like when I played in Utah, we knew if we ran hard and ran early and hit it first, we would catch teams in the second half, especially going in the fourth and last 6 minutes of the game. Denver's the same way when I played in Denver. So maybe that altitude caught them, but the second time they come into that arena for game 2, they will have their wind underneath them. They'll be ready. They'll be mentally focused. And I grew up with T. Lue. We grew up in the same gyms in high school. He's crafty. He's moving it around. He's talking to Chauncey. He's looking at different ways. And Smitty, I really think he threw more players out there because he knew the altitude would catch them going down the stretch in the fourth quarter.
Mike Conley didn't play in this one. He had that hamstring injury that kept him out for 21 games earlier in this season. Re-injured that in the last game of the last series. Smitty, how do you think Utah handled himself not being able to have Conley in the lineup tonight?
Well, it's a lot on Donovan Mitchell. I mean, you just look at it. He played 36 minutes, but it's not just the minutes. It's everything he has to do. It's going to have to be somebody else. And I thought Jordan Clarkson came in, gave him a lift, didn't shoot well. You don't really look at percentages right now in the playoffs. It's just to get it done, get a win. I think there's going to have to be more of Joe Ingles, more of Bogdanovich. And I'm not talking about scoring, just taking a load off of Donovan Mitchell, because at this pace, I'm not saying he can't do it, but if I'm T. Lue and the Clippers, it's taking 45 to beat us in Utah, and it was just by 3 points. We had a chance to tie it at the end. We had a possession that we could have made a difference. So the Clippers are saying we didn't play our best game, Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, and we had a chance. I think they're going to feel okay.
You just mentioned Ty Lue. We know that Earl grew up with them playing in the same gyms. Now we'll take a listen to the head coach of the Clippers.
Because that's what I felt was right for our team. But what? That's what I felt was right for our team.
I'm just curious, what maybe you may have saw out there that you thought
I liked his pace in the first half, getting open shots, be able to push the tempo, and having a point guard on the floor. Because with Reggie off the floor, we needed a point guard on the floor, so that's what we did.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Then let's go to Matthew Cole.
What made it so difficult in the third quarter and in the fourth to score? What were the Jazz doing on defense that made it difficult for you guys to get into the stuff you wanted to get to?
I got to take a look at it, but I thought their physicality in the second half picked up. Picking up full court, getting into us, being physical, and we didn't match that physicality on the offensive end. Taking the ball out of bounds, on the sideline or baseline out of bounds. They're getting into us, and we had a couple of turnovers that led to easy baskets for those guys. So we got to own our space. Coming back game 2, owning our space and being more physical on the offensive end.
Alex, you can go ahead.
Wait, me? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
Hi, Ty. Hi, Coach. Appreciate you guys doing this. It seems like tonight it was kind of like a pick your poison. It was either Donovan Mitchell or threes from the outside. And I wonder, just kind of defensively, what kind of matchups or what kind of adjustments can you make to just kind of see how they're kind of able to, especially in the second half, kind of hit you guys with a lot of everything.
We'll watch the film and we'll see. Donovan Mitchell had it going tonight, so late in the game we try to blitz and try to do a little firing, but he had it going, so hats off to him for having a good game. But we'll look at the film and we'll make some adjustments.
Justin Russo, you can go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I was kind of wondering, was fatigue a factor at all with some of the guys' minutes being down, like Nick's minutes being in the low 20s or anything?
Yeah, I think so. But, like I said, we wanted to play 10 guys in the first half just to kind of see where we're at, try to get our legs up under us. We didn't want to wear guys out, early on. Came in and did a great job. And then in the second half, looked like we didn't have a lot left in the tank, but we made some mental mistakes as well. So we just got to clean those things up, and we'll be ready to go for game 2.
Bill Pulaski.
Yeah, any thought to calling a timeout before that last possession?
No.
You didn't want Utah's defense to get set?
Yeah, I didn't want to take Gobert out the game and have their switchable guys in or have time to, talk about it as a team if they want to foul or not. And I just thought making the right play. I'm not making any shots, and they kind of got going offensively. So Just cleaning that up.
Minutes when Gobert wasn't on the floor. How do you see his role shaping out in the series against Gobert and when he's not on the court?
I think having a bigger role. I think Zoo was great tonight, really protecting the paint. I thought he did a good job, blocked a couple shots, rebounding the basketball, just being a big body inside and being physical. So Zoo was great tonight, so it was good to see.
Thanks, Coach. That's all the time we got with you.
All right, thank you.
When you guys miss 20 or so consecutive shots in the first quarter, not your best offensive first half, and then Donovan comes out in the second half pretty electric, winds up scoring 30 plus after halftime. What really kind of sparked the turnaround there, and what did you see out of Donovan specifically?
Well, I thought for the most part, the looks we were getting early were good shots. I thought we were a little bit rushed, and I think as the game progressed, we settled down a little bit more and started, attacking the paint. We don't have to take quick threes all the time. If the ball can break the paint, we can still generate those shots. But I thought we settled in. Thought Donovan settled in, and as much as anything, I thought we threw ourselves into the defensive end. And we've talked about trying to continue to push the ball and move the ball. When we struggle, it's when the ball stops, and they're so good, defensively, staying in front of you. If the ball stops, it makes it a lot harder. But we've had games where we've not shot it well, and those are the kind of games you have to rely on your defense. And that the thing that I really am pleased with is that we didn't stop shooting. So, and we tried to get better looks, and we got a few more easy buckets, particularly on the offensive glass. I thought our offensive rebounding really helped our offense.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Quinn, can you talk about the defensive effort of the guys down the line? I mean, Bojan, Jordan, Fave, how they kind of picked up their intensity, especially in that second half.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the playoffs. And, those guys had a feel for, what's needed in a game on that level against the team that's as good as the Clippers are. And as the game progressed, I thought we did a good job, of talking through some situations, that we touched a little bit, but, kind of happened on the move. And that's always, a really good sign that your guys are dialed in when they're communicating like that, and, making sure we're trying to run someone off a 3-point line when it's a 3-point game, switching a back screen when you have to, just lots of little things like that, that really make an impact. And so our focus and concentration on that end, not only our competing, but just our ability to execute at the right times was really important.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
Coach, just, piggybacking off of, the physicality defensively, how important was it for you guys, that initial push in the second half to kind of get back in the game and kind of just see something good over an extended period of possessions?
Yeah, I think, we hadn't shot well, but I didn't think we were defending poorly. I thought there were the couple situations that we didn't handle well where they made some really good reads and were getting some open shots. But, this is a series, and you can't get too high or too low. Obviously, this is one game. And I think every game you kind of have to approach the same way, that, you've got to play throughout the 48 minutes. And, our guys obviously, kept their focus and we're able to do that and play a little better in the second half. But, we've got our work cut out for us. We've won one. That's great. But as I said, I don't think you get too high or too low, especially when you're playing a team that's as good as these guys are.
Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Quinn, it seemed like you were really on your team to try and get them to push the ball quickly off makes and misses. What did you see from your guys when they did that?
Well, I think the initial thrust for us into a possession allows us, to make quick decisions. And as I said before, when they lock in on you, there's, whether it's PG or Kawhi or Batum, Rondo, right down the line, their wing defenders are really good. And then when Morris is up and he's moving his feet. So to the extent that we can try to get the ball up the court quickly, we're not having to play against that length as much. And that's part of how we've played this year. So there, as I said, this morning, some of this is it's not a lot of mystery to it. It's just a question of execution. And obviously, there are adjustments and nuances and all those things. But, I think the biggest thing for us that we're going to try to keep doing is just try to keep competing and try to keep executing.
Tim McMahon, ESPN.
Quinn, what is it about Donovan that gives him the capability to just take over playoff games with the scoring?
Well, I said it, I think, the third quarter, interview where we want him to take open looks. And if he misses a few of them, they're good shots, and keep taking them and keep attacking. And, that's who he is.
Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune.
When specifically from three, when it's a tough shooting first quarter, a tough shooting first half, how important was it to stay the course and not stray from what's been working all season?
It's really important, and it's important for us because it's who we are. If Joe Ingles goes 1 for 8 like he did tonight, honestly, I'm happy. I'd rather him go 1 for 8 than 1 for 1 or 2 for 2. And it takes a degree of mental toughness to continue to take those shots. I think it also takes, some smarts to understand, how to get better shots, but that doesn't mean that you stop shooting. And, you hear it all the time, when teams are missing, you say, hey, stop shooting, get to the line, get to the rim. And I think those things are true. I just don't think you stop shooting. I think you get to the rim and you get to the line, and you keep shooting. And, whatever combination those things, come in, I thought our guys, had a pretty good feel for that balance. And if we're getting good looks, there's no reason not to shoot them. If you look at, how we play, and, if we pass those shots up, the likelihood of us getting a better shot throughout the possession goes way down. We also have a chance to turn the ball over. We may not have a chance to offensive rebound. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But I do think it's a mindset that you can't get discouraged. And you have to believe, and that's who we are. And we need to double down.
Okay, last question will be from Joe Varden, The Athletic.
Hi, Quinn. I was actually going to ask about the third quarter exchange you had with Donovan that was caught on camera or whatever. You said to him, you just keep getting your mind right and it overcomes everything. My two questions would be, were you referring to him not feeling well? Is that what you guys were talking about? And then was there a previous conversation? Like, did you broach this subject at halftime or, at any point before that little exchange?
Well, one of the things that I love about coaching Donovan is the communication that you get to have with him. And that's something for a coach that's unique. And, when I say that, it's an exchange. There's things that, that he's talking to me about that we're discussing, even the times for the few games when he was out, that was something that we were talking about, and how important it was. So, if there's anything that I feel I can help him with, I want to, and there's plenty of things that, that he helps me with. So, I don't recall any any specific, watershed moment with anything. I just know how hard he's competing. And, and that to me, when you understand that about someone, you just want to encourage them to keep their focus. And that's really all I was saying to him. And he's probably said it to me more than I've said it to him.
Okay. Thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate your time.
The Jazz. Hey, that is an awesome photo. Smitty, he's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, maybe 3.
Well, I love being able to defend outside of the paint where he's so comfortable. This is tough. If you ask anybody playing in the league, blocking a jump shot is one of the hardest things you can do after a pump fake to recover. Great timing, great commitment.
Shouts out to Matt Peterson, the game-clinching block. That was his 3rd and final block of the game. It came. So now we will take a listen to Rudy, who has on his jersey still, not the bathrobe we saw him in before, postgame.
You were able to block Morris's shot. Just tell us from your perspective what happened there.
I mean, we're up 3, so obviously they needed a 3 to tie the game. Kawhi had the ball, and Joe got switched on Kawhi, so he did a great job trying to take away forcing him to drive, and I kind of faked, helped, and I knew that he was going to pass to Morris for the 3, so I just tried to contest as much as I can.
Next up will be Jacoby De Francesco, around the game out of Italy.
Hi, Rudy. Congrats. There has been lots of talking and writing about. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. There has been lots of talking and writing about you adjusting to a small lineup. And how do you feel about this? And do you think the last play is like a photograph of what you can do in this situation?
I mean, teams have been trying to do this to us for years now. I've been doing both, and you might see a clip of me dancing on the perimeter once in a while, but the truth and the numbers back it up, that I'm comfortable guarding, any lineup. And, it's their game plan, they're going to try to make me uncomfortable, and I respect that, but, I'm going to be out there on the court. So, I'm comfortable.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
Talking about, just guarding on the perimeter, were you surprised to see the Clippers start small and then go big, or did you guys anticipate that?
I mean, we knew that they were going to go small either from the start or, to close the game. We didn't know if they was going to start Zubac or Batum, but, I was prepared. We were prepared for both. And, and we know that it's going to, those guys are very good. They have a good coaching staff. They're going to try, to mix things up to try to make us uncomfortable. And, you got to respect that. And for myself, I just got to be ready. And for us as a team, we got to be ready to guard any kind of lineup and still play to our strength, and don't change our defense because they play a different lineup.
Tim McMahon, ESPN.com.
Rudy, you guys obviously as a team struggled offensively in the first half. What's the feeling when Donovan comes out and, hits 3 or 4 quick buckets? Is there a sense that, you guys are about to go on a roll?
I mean, 100%. I think we started the game, all of us started the game a little flat. We kind of rushing into shots. We kind of, not connected like we've been, later against the Grizzlies. And we knew that was going to come back with, obviously it starts with Donovan and with Joe and with our point guards being aggressive. And, we knew that, in the second half, Donovan was going to come out aggressive. And I think he did, obviously he gave us a great lift, and he did a great job not settling for the jump shots, but attacking them and putting pressure on them for, finishing at the rim, drawing fouls, or kicking out for the shooters. And, when we play that way, I think that's when we become really, really hard to guard.
Maxime Legorge, the free agent.
Hi, Rudy.
you did the key play of the game, even if you have a difficult night tonight. And so, what makes the difference in your mind to stay focused just until the last play of the game, even if you made a jump that was a bit difficult just before?
I mean, no matter what happens before, the most important is the moment. And, I try to stay focused on the moment. I know that my teams trust me, to do what I do and then to make plays, both defensively and offensively, at the end of the game. And, I try to just stay focused. And personally, I enjoy those moments. I embrace those moments because at the end of the day, when you're in a close game at the end, you know that you got an opportunity to impact the game. You can't be worried about how many points you scored or if you had a bad game, good game. You got to stay with it, and I think that's what the best teams are able to do. Even on the night when things didn't go our way, we find ways to execute and to play our basketball and to stay to keep trusting one another when it matters.
Sam Farnsworth, KSL.
Yeah, Rudy, this is the first time in about 15 months you guys have had a full capacity crowd at Vivint Arena. I know last round it wasn't too far off, a little over 14,000, but how big of a difference is that? Is that something you notice, that extra 4,000, that it's a full house, the energy, the excitement that they're bringing?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously last game we felt it. Last series we felt it. We felt a difference between having 8,000 and 13,000, but this time we really felt it throughout the whole game. It wasn't just at the end or in the key moments. We really felt it throughout the whole game, and I think when we were down 12 and we were try to come back, try to grind to catch them. Having that crowd behind us really gave us a big lift.
We have time for one more question. Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Rudy, there was that sequence with DeMarcus Cousins when the charge that was reversed after the review into a block, and you got the and one on that play. First of all, your reaction to the review and what you thought about the foul when it happened. And then, you guys, that's a 3-point swing and you win by 3 points. Do you think back on plays like that and how important they are?
It's the playoffs. Every play matters. Every momentum play matters, and sometimes, unfortunately, every call matters. So I thought it was pretty obvious. Maybe from his angle, he thought it was a charge, but I'm glad that coach challenged it because there was no doubt that it wasn't a charge, and I thought it was pretty obvious to me.
All right, thank you so much, Rudy. That's all for tonight.
Rudy Gobert. Now we'll listen to Bogdan Bogdanovic.
Lake Tribune.
Well, Jan, you played some major minutes guarding Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and they had relatively quiet nights for their standards. What was the key to kind of keeping them within kind of control, and what are you thinking when you're battling those guys?
They are both great players, so we were trying to force them to take tough shots. Rudy was there every single time when they have blow by us or had a straight line drive. So great team defense overall on these two guys, but we know how extra aggressive next game.
Maria Vidal, Tab Deportes.
Hi, Boyan. First of all, congrats for the win. What are the key aspects that you can take away from this first game against the Clippers?
Just our defense. Even we started the game shooting the ball pretty bad, especially from 3-point line. But we kept guarding. Crowd was really behind us. They pushed us when we were down 13 or even more. So I think that our defense it's the key in this series.
And Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Okay, we don't see it a lot from you. You hit a lot of kind of spot up threes, but you dribble into a big three late in the fourth quarter there. What did you see going into that play and taking that shot?
I mean, they were trying to blitz Donovan, kind of double team him, especially in the last couple of minutes on the game. And then I had a grenade on me, and shot clock was running down, so I needed to take that one. It was big one, and but like I said, Donovan was the guy that really bring all attention, and then the other guys. We had a lot of wide open shot, but like I said, we didn't play for a couple of days, so maybe that get us tired beginning of the game, or we didn't have enough confidence hitting those shots. But like I said again, our defense was great, especially second half.
Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
Hey, Boyan. Speaking of Donovan, obviously he had a pretty incredible second half, especially the way he came out and started that third quarter with 10 straight points. What did you see from him, and kind of how is he able to go on, scoring streaks like that and kind of have the ability to take over games in that fashion?
I mean, he's just amazing person. He's a great player. He saw that we are down 12-13 on halftime, so probably he thought I gotta take over the game. I gotta be extra aggressive in especially in third quarter. So he got us back in a game, and then all the energy, or the crowd, he gave us energy to the players, and like I said, I mean, it's just amazing performance from him.
Christos Salto, Sports DNA.
Hey, Boyan. We saw that you had a great connection with the fans. So how contagious was the passion of the fans in the stands to you on the floor?
I mean, it was probably the loudest crowd that I played in front here in NBA. Even when we were down, they were kind of cheering and pushing us and gave us extra energy to get back in the game. And then when we start to hit those shots, especially Donovan, the arena was really amazing and really loud. So